Dude, I can't wait for the fucking discourse, by the way. Like, all of the God of War Reddit and fandom sites are fucking fighting over the negative feelings and the conflicted, like, exuberation of, you know, the new game being released, but, you know, nobody gets what they actually wanted. And now Stellar Blade's fandom and subreddits are gonna be the same bullshit too. Oh my goodness. Holy shit, dude. How fucking annoying is that? I feel worse about Stellar Blade though. I do. Maybe, like, They didn't call it Stellar Blade 2 though, but then again, that could just be like, you know. I guess maybe the reason as to why they didn't want to call it Stellar Blade 2, first of all, is because they don't have the same exact setting. And they don't have the same protagonist or like the main cast anymore either. So maybe that's one of the many reasons that you would want to change the title to be, you know, not Stellar Blade 2, but something like something else. So it's kind of like a spiritual successor, kind of. I think that, like, do I think the game is gonna be good based off what we saw, like, gameplay-wise? Yes. I think the game will probably be very good. But, like, I just wanna see Eve, you know? Like, Eve and Lily, dude, like, imagine the character growth they could show on Eve in the second game when they focus on her, like, emotional and psychological story more also. Something that they dropped the ball extremely heavily in the first game. But, no. They just don't want to do that. I guess I'm gonna level Faith for now. I suppose I'm gonna be talking about this at some point with, like... I had the same exact friend over. I'm talking about the same person who, you know, who I also said that got me into, like, Dark Souls games, for example. I'm talking about the same exact person. So I had that person come over. Or do I have to kill these guys every time? Yeah, I think I do. I had that guy come over and play the entire Stellar Blade 1, by the way. As like a watch party experience. Where he was playing the game and I was just watching because I already, you know, had played the game like several times over, right? I had him play the game like that the entire time. And I seriously wonder what his thoughts about this are too. I think they will be a lot like mine though. I will not be surprised. In fact, like last time when I was hanging around with him just a couple days ago, actually from when I'm recording this right now, or streaming this, like even then, like we had this short discussion about God of War Lawfare as well. But the thing is that he did not play God of War 2018 and Ragnarok from start to finish. He only played a portion of the first God of War 2018. So he didn't know the story elements as much as, you know, obviously someone like I do, you know. So, like even that was something that, like, he was curious to know as to what the Discord was exactly about. Because, you know, my thoughts were more important because of all of the fucking, like, identity politics bullshit that people talk about nowadays so often with, like, you know, you have a female protagonist in a game that is either, or with a saga of games that is normally dominated by male cast, and then you have a female cast all of a sudden, and, you know, people just fucking lose their minds. But, like, I don't think that is the issue so much. I think the issue is, like, where there's a lot of tangible reasoning, where people have a very good point, is how Western developers, when they make choices like that, they seem to make those choices in order to force their worldviews and their views of how females are supposed to be represented in the media onto us. So they force, like, these, like a good example of this would be something like God of War Lawfare, for example. So the actual, like, motion, like, capture actress for, like, Lawfare's character or Faye's character is actually more gorgeous looking than the actual in-game model of her is. So that's like a good point, where like Western games uglify the characters, while Eastern games do the opposite, or they stay extremely truthful, or they enhance the features to make them look even better, you know? But it depends on the context, of course, you know? Like, Faye's character, or Lo-Faye's character, she's not supposed to be, like, fucking 20-year-old, like, you know, hottie, I guess, anymore. You know, she's supposed to be a, like, about Kratos or so age, like, middle-aged, like, mom or a woman, you know? So, like, when people stop and not think about the context where the, you know, subject is being portrayed at, that is where there's an issue as well. Because her looks, as well as, you know, how they represent her character and the story in, like, that simple gameplay trailer, was actually very truthful to how Faye herself would be in the world building and in the story of God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. But, you know, it's just like, the problem is not exactly the execution so much, but also there's, you know, holes in there as well, especially if you go to God of War Ragnarok compared to God of War 2018, like, talking about, like, Santa Monica's, like, track record in the last 2 games. But, like, it's the problem with the setting. Like, you set the story up with the elements that you have to be so difficult to portray in a way that does not come off as nosy or very, like, what's it now? Very, like, political, I guess, or, like, identity political, you know, or, you know, it's like, they should just avoid choosing topics like that, I think. You know? But anyway, whatever, let's